Paul Rockman is a 20-year-old building and establishment student that has recently moved out of his parents' house and now lives in a 2-room apartment in Liljeholmen. As a consequence of being unemployed, he is now struggling to pay for his rent.
What do you think of your current financial situation? Do you have an income?
Currently unemployed, but I used to work at my uncle's pizza restaurant before they had to close.
And are you receiving any money from the unemployment benefit scheme?
No, actually, my uncle usually just paid me up front, and since I didn't have any time to simply declare my taxes, I just decided not to.
So you've been working illicit and you're aware of the multiple fines, fees and even penalties you might be receiving just because you decide not to declare your taxes.
Do you have any savings?
I still have a couple thousand which I got from my last paycheck.
What do you do every day?
So I usually just sit around, watch TV and play video games, but sometimes I try to find a job. This is usually way too difficult and they don't pay nearly as much as I want to. Then sometimes my band and I usually get together and practice at some place.
Around how much do you think you pay for food?
4,000 maybe?
Thanks for the conversation.
Right now you have 13,000 in accommodation, 3,000 on food and 1,000 on clothes.
And then you spend another 1,000 on transportation and savings, well, yeah. And other 600, which is your phone bill.
So as you can see, this is not sustainable.
You really need to pay this month's rent because otherwise you won't receive your deposit.
Yeah, so I'm guessing I won't be able to move right now as I still have the 1 month's notice that I signed with my landlord.
If this had happened to you, your employer or your uncle is not obliged to pay for any of the damage.
So you're saying that I don't automatically get work insurance?
Nope.
So this actually happened, so I noticed one thing when I was working with my uncle, and that was that sometimes he didn't always give me the money on our set date and time, and then sometimes he would just give me 2 paychecks at the same time, and then the next month he wouldn't give me one at all.
So this can happen when you don't have a contract. He can pay you late or early or not even at all without any repercussions.
Thank you. So in this case, we wanted to show you that the employer can just decide not to hire you in the last second.
Yes, this actually happened to me once when I was working for my uncle. I came in one weekend when he said I needed to work, and he said that somebody else had covered my shift, so I just had to go home and play video games instead.
If you don't have an employment contract, your employer can fire you at any time without any notice.
Oh, that's pretty much what happened to me. My uncle fired me only like one week prior to actually closing the restaurant, so I didn't have any time to look for a new job. Also, I think where we're going next, and I think you're going to prove to me that not having an employment contract doesn't give me the right to have an unemployment scheme.
Because you worked illicit, your uncle was not forced to give you any semester days. This is what you've been missing out on.
Now, of course, since you work part-time, relaxing time was not a problem. But it would have been if you had been working full-time.
Yeah, I understand why we're here at this retirement home, okay? You're gonna say something like, oh, if you don't pay taxes, you're not gonna get retirement funds. But you must understand that I knew some of the risk I was taking, and I wanted to move away from my parents. I wanted to be independent. I just thought that if I ate enough and had enough money for a while, then eventually everything would work out all right.
But can we talk for a second?
Yes.
Cut the camera. You're an idiot! If you can't read the sign, just don't say anything.
Our last stop, your new job. So, can I have your resume? Thank you.
Yes, sure, here.
So, the most annoying thing about working illicit is that you can't really put that on your resume.
Yes, I noticed that as well. I couldn't really put it on my resume since that would risk me getting caught and going to prison. I actually almost didn't get my new building job because I didn't have any prior work experience that I could put on my resume.
In order to fix Paul's situation, the advisors have decided that the cost of his phone bill should be as low as possible.
Paul here is tied up to a phone deal with you guys and is wondering if he can switch the seller because he cannot afford the prices right now.
Well, it's possible to be able to switch operator or dealer. However, if Paul wants to do this, he first needs to pay off the phone he has right now.
Switching the dealership now would help you out in the long run. I really think that this would save up to 1,000 or even 3,000 krones per year just by switching dealer, and even though it might be annoying, you probably need to pay off the phone and thus the saved money.
I really don't think that it's only Paul's fault that he is in this situation. I actually think that it is not only his school that has failed to educate him about the risks of working illicit and taxes in general, but society. We grown-ups take out knowledge of society and knowledge of how to live and life in general for granted, that we forget to educate the future generation.
Although I do agree with you, I also still think that it's mainly Paul's fault. It is like a bad spiral or bad circle that has gotten way out of hand, and I even think we can all learn something from Paul, and that is to never be afraid to ask your relative or any other person in general about what you don't know. So for example, taxes, the entire situation would easily have been avoided if Paul had just asked his parents how to declare taxes, and or ask his uncle why they did not have the contract in the first place.
This is also why I think it's good that Skolverket has added that helps them learn private finances and how society works in general, so that they can better understand to do in certain moments as generally have an affect society for the better.
We have fixed your living situation, your semi-expensive phone deal, and your expensive eating habits. So the only thing left for us to fix for you is to get you a job.
Yes, I'm guessing you mean a full-time job, because I don't really think that I would be able to live my current way of life with a half-time pay. And also, actually tried to find a job before, a building job. Since I didn't graduate my education, I instead just started working with my uncle.
Yes, it was quite difficult to find a legitimate building firm which will actually allow you to work without your full education. But through our contacts and everything, we were actually able to find you a job. Although you won't be getting the 100%, you'll only be getting 75% of the pay you would have if you actually finished your education.
Ideally, I would like to continue my education, but I assume that I'd be able to study in between those certain builds.
Yeah, that could be arranged. So Alfon's construction firm gives you the opportunity to decide which build you want to work on.
I'm guessing I won't get paid while I'm not on site or in between those building jobs in general, and that in between those jobs, if I'd like to study, I would have to save up enough money to pay rent for those months. And also, if I decide to study, I could also probably work half-time or during the weekends.
Well, yes, that was the primary idea.
This was your situation before we came here to help you. Since you moved in with your roommate, you can remove 8,500 from your housing. And when it comes to the food, you can remove 900 because you shouldn't be eating out as much.
Yes, I've started cooking more in order to save on money.
That's great.
So I know it might not be the best idea, but I have started spending some of my leftover earnings to start taking driver's lessons with my parents, and I think it will open up more job possibilities for me. However, I still have to pay for books and the fuel, but also as to save money on the lessons themselves, I've asked my parents to help me with the driver's lessons.
I'm not sure if that was the smartest decision, but at the end of the day, it's your money. So if you've got a job that requires a lot of lifting and working in hard terrain and mud and stuff like that, we know that you're going to use quite a large number of pairs of shoes. You can therefore remove 500 to the clothes section for some nice study metal tipped shoes.
As we spoke with the phone guy, and since you paid off your phone completely, you can now remove 400 kronor from the other section. And how much do you think you're spending as of right now?
Let's see. Still spending 9,100 as I counted right here, I'm able to save about 2,900 crowns per month, which is a great backup if I ever have an emergency or anything like that.
We have now met our terms, and we are now somewhat confident that you will be responsible enough to sustain this lifestyle.
And just to keep you happy, here's a gift card you can use to buy clothes.
Oh, a gift card for clothes. This is actually perfect. Now I can finally buy some brand new high quality clothes instead of buying second hand. This also shows me to shop responsibly without going over my